Today's guest raised $500,000 with a crowdfunding campaign and then took her learnings to significantly grow her sales in the years since her initial test launch. It's a great product that is needed by hundreds of millions of consumers, but a good product isn't enough anymore. You also need effective marketing. She shares what has worked for her in a way that you can apply to your business as well.
Are you looking for new ways to make your sales grow? You've tried other podcasts, but they don't seem to know. Harvest the growth potential of your product or service as we share stories and strategies that'll make your competitors nervous. Now, here's the host of the Harvest Growth Podcast, John LeClaire.
Welcome back to the show. I'm excited to have Sandy Stinson on the show with us today to do an interview about her product and her business. Her product's called PooPail, and her business is called Good Wag. You can find more information about them at GoodWag, WAG.com. It's a pet product. We're going to dive into exactly what it is and some of the story behind how this has become so successful over the last couple of years. First of all, though, I want to welcome to the show, Sandy. Thanks for taking the time today.
Thanks so much for having me.
So can you tell our audience, if they haven't heard of the PooPail or of your business, the Good Wag, what is the PooPail and how'd you come up with the idea?
I've always been a dog lover, and I had two dogs, and I worked long hours. I was in an industry that was very time consuming, and I always had a doggy door for my dogs to go in and out and relieve themselves during the day while I was at work. During the winter, when the days are shorter, I'd leave for work when it was dark, and I'd come home from work when it was dark. And I would go out on Saturdays and I'd spend half my day picking up all the dog poo from the week. So, it just took forever. There was a lot of single-use items. There just wasn't anything that was convenient. And I went to a bunch of different pet stores in my area and I said, do you have anything like a pail with a scoop or some way to collect all of this at once? Said, no, there's nothing like that. And so I went about to kind of create one. I started with an office trash can and a kitty litter scoop. And that was fine until it rained and it filled with water and it was disgusting. And so it's like, okay, it needs to be a covered pail and a scoop. And I just kept thinking, if I want something like this, perhaps other people do too. So I started working with some engineers, and it took a few engineers, a few tries before somebody got my idea. I knew what I wanted it to do. I didn't know the mechanics of it. I'm not an engineer. But I knew what I wanted it to do. And so I found one engineer and we kind of, went through and hashed it out, and he'd come up with an idea and I'd say, absolutely, why don't we just put the scoop inside the pail? It's like, I'm not reaching into a pail of dog poop to pull out the scoop. It's got to be, out to the side and kept clean. I want everything that you touch to be clean. And so we kind of worked out the first idea. I ordered molds. I was going to have a crowdfunding campaign, which I then launched. And my first crowdfunding campaign was, I thought that crowdfunding, the platform, which was Indiegogo, I thought they promoted it, but they do nothing. They provide a platform. And so my first campaign with no marketing at all, I think I sold $1,000 worth. So then I started searching frantically for marketing companies to, that handle crowdfunding campaigns. I learned a little bit, I bought email lists, I tried all of this stuff, and everybody's happy to take your money. But it took me a while. I finally reached out to another entrepreneur who had a successful crowdfunding campaign with a pet product. And it took me like a few months to get a hold of him, but I asked him, what marketing company did you use? He told me, and it took a while, but then it was about a year later when I had another campaign, this time on Kickstarter. It started on Kickstarter, and this time we raised over $500,000 in 30 days.
That's phenomenal. And it's a story that I've heard many times with crowdfunding specifically. It's such a unique way of marketing a product. And it's different today than it was. I don't even know when they started, 15, 20 years ago, when these websites first came out, and you could just put a product online and it would sort of sell itself in the very early days. But now there's so many products on any one of these platforms like Kickstarter at any given time. It's like going on Amazon and not advertising, right? It's like if it's a new product that people aren't searching for, they're never going to find it. So marketing becomes very important, and it's a very specific way of marketing that is different from marketing on Facebook, TikTok, et cetera, when you're sending traffic to your website or maybe to or within Amazon as well. So what were some of the learnings, I guess, as you now had this very successful campaign launch on Kickstarter? What were some of the strategies or techniques that worked well for you?
The first thing is you've got to get a good company, a good marketing company. Like I said, there's a lot of people, a lot of companies out there who are very happy to take your money. I actually had paid $5,000 to one company, and they did some testing. They came back to me 3 days later, said, "Oh, it will never sell," and they kept the $5,000. Like I said, so you need to get references, and it doesn't hurt to do your own research, especially in whatever kind of area that you want to launch. Look for other companies that have had successful campaigns. Crowdfunding campaign marketing companies are very specific. It's a different type of marketing. The thing that they did is they did what they called at the time jungle-proof testing. They test marketed the product. They checked the price. They wanted to see if people thought that it would be a good idea. I mean, there's a lot of bad ideas people that people come up with that, they're going to become the next billionaire, but it's not going to happen. And my product is brand new. It's kind of very different from anything out there on the market to pick up dog poo. And so they test marketed it. Was this a broad enough market where they could, capture a good share? And then they did a pre-launch for about 2 months. And a pre-launch is extremely important. I can't stress how important it is. And during that time, they're collecting names, collecting email addresses, and I think they even collected $1 or $2 as a reservation amount. That way they had the credit card, they had the email, they had everything. And they stayed in touch with them until we had the launch. And that way, the moment that it launched, when we finally rolled it out, the moment that it launched, we met our goal within hours. And the thing is, I set my goal low. I set my goal at $5,000 because I wanted to be successful. The algorithms with the Kickstarter campaign or with any campaign, really, it's like the more successful you are, the faster you get to your goal, the more they're going to help promote you. And the first time I did this, it's like I knew that I needed roughly $100,000 for molds, and that's what I put in there. And getting $1,000, although it was good, it was not anywhere near where I needed to be. So that way, once we actually, had all the names and had email addresses, as soon as they launched and they send out emails, we're launching, they were great with all the follow-up. They, it was instantly successful. They continued to market. They had created ads. I had worked with their marketing company, and they came up with a great ad with cartoon characters, two little flies, and it was a riot because my product, it's not going to save the world. It just makes life a little bit more convenient if you've got a dog. I wanted a lot of comedy, a lot of tongue in cheek, a lot of humor with it because it's dog poo.
True. Well, it's such a great product idea. It's anybody who has a dog or has been around them. I think of my son. We sort of farmed him out as a service to somebody who needed help cleaning out their yard. They hadn't picked up dog poop. They just had a new baby and just hadn't had the time to do it. And it was, I don't know, a long time, weeks probably of stuff back there. And for him to do it manually, this is before you and I met and before we had the PooPail to be able to use. Such a pain to use. But it made me realize there's picking up one as you're walking your dog in a park is one thing, right? But being able to go out in your yard and get that quantity and have it readily available to either, whether it's daily or weekly, and an easy way to do it that your fingers aren't close to, that's not sort of gross and it's protected from rain, as you mentioned. It's such a great concept. But as you and I have talked about, product is part of it, right? There's a lot of fantastic ideas that never get off the ground or that, become total flops. And I'll add to that, there's a lot of products that we've come across. We've launched hundreds of products over the years with our clients, and a lot of, so we're in the industry, right? We see these Kickstarter campaigns that take off, sell like crazy. And then when they get into quote unquote the real market afterwards, they flop sometimes, right? So having a great product and even having it in a proven way in crowdfunding is not always going to guarantee success. The next step is, okay, now how do I turn this into a marketing success, to a continuous business, right? That's going to continue to do well and grow for years. So I know you've had great success afterwards, once you got manufacturing and everything figured out, to then launch on your own and market it directly to your website as opposed to Kickstarter. Can you talk a little bit about what has been successful for you? What has helped your business to grow, to work well, even after Kickstarter?
Sure. The old adage, build a better mousetrap and the world will beat a path to your door, is complete hogwash. Complete hogwash. I built what I thought was a perfect, PooPail. And one of the things that the marketing company did through the campaign is they sent out emails to all of the backers and said, what would you like to see? And they wanted an even taller version. They wanted wheels. They wanted more colors. And so that all took a little time. And it kind of delayed delivering my original orders of PooPails. It was delayed by a lot, but it was during COVID and, shipping delays, the supply chain issues, all of that. And, but I did deliver. And then once I delivered all the 6,000 PooPails to the backers, I sent a follow-up email and said, what do you like? What do you not like? What is easy? What's not easy? What would you like to see different? And I got, you don't look for the one who complains about everything, but you look for a theme. And they said the wheels were too thin. They weren't stable enough. The lid would fall open unless it was just seated right. I went through and redesigned the PooPail, and this time I did most of the design myself. The first one, if you look online, you ever see the old products, it looks kind of like, the old Volvos. It's boxy, but good. And this is more like a Ferrari. It's more streamlined. It's better balanced. The wheels are thicker. It's just a much better product. As a matter of fact, I just got an email today from somebody who was an original backer, and he received a new PooPail, and he goes, light years better. I'm so proud of you and your success. And so I ask questions. I continue to ask questions, because even though I think I've built a great product, you really have to find out what the customer wants, and you have to ask. You can't be afraid to ask. Don't love your ideas so much that you are going to die for it. You've got to be able to pivot.
Absolutely. And I think it's a relatively inherent part of the process with crowdfunding, because everything's new. People ask questions. It's really there's a delivery window to send out after the first order, and it's kind of researchy, right? If it's a way to say it. But the part that gets often missed, that I think you've done well, is continuing to have those conversations after you post Kickstarter, right? Now in the true launch of the website, but continuing to have conversations with your customers. You're going to learn and improve over time, and really should not rest on your laurels, right? Version 2, version 3, version 4 of any product is only going to get better and better. I do want to say to our audience, we're going to keep talking for a minute, but go to their website, GoodWag.com, to see the designs. As Sandy said, they're phenomenal designs. They work really well, and they're not clunky, right? They work well, they look great. And anybody who's watching the video, as Sandy talks, you can see one of the PooPails behind her as well, and see how it's a very well designed product, but also super functional too. So is there anything else that kind of sticks out that you've heard recently as you've reached out to existing customers, that maybe what's next for the product in your development, whether it's an improvement to the PooPail or something, maybe developing a new product that you've heard from your audience?
I am coming out with new products. As a matter of fact, I recently transitioned from PooPail, which was just one product name, to Good Wag. And the reason why is because I'm coming out with new products. When we changed that on the algorithm, our ratings went down a little bit. It took a while to get them back up. So I suggest that, if you want to build a real company and not just a one-off product, use the company name to begin with. And so I am now PooPail by Good Wag, and or the company name is now Good Wag. Everything is branded as Good Wag. And the reason why is because I'm coming out with Poopy Scoopy. There's a lot of, kind of waste bin and broom kind of contraptions or rake contraptions to scoop up dog poop. Well, I'm going to come out with one of those too, because it's going to be a lot less expensive. Kind of PooPail is the Cadillac, and these are going to be like the Toyota Prius, just everywhere. And of course, I've taken a look at everything that's on the market, and I've redesigned it so that it's better. It's going to have both a rake and a scoop option, kind of like this. And so people can use either the rake or the scoop. It depends on the ground cover, or I've had more intimate conversations about dog poop. It depends on the consistency of the dog poop. And it's going to be able to live outside. You don't have to bring it in during winter and things like that. I just kind of look at what it should do and design for that. So that's my next product coming out. I also have a jumbo PooPail coming out for households with multiple large dogs or commercial use, kennels, rescues, that kind of thing, doggy daycares. And I have one final product coming out, at least so far. It's going to be one final product, which is Stick. SH Stick. You know what the SH stands for. And that's going to be kind of for older, I hate to say older, but mobility challenged people. There's a lot of older people that have pets and should be out exercising and walking their dogs. But because of back or balance issues, they can't bend down to pick up after their dog. So this is going to help older people and others go out and walk their dog, and it's going to be at one handheld, foldable. Go down, get the poop, kind of suck it up, put it in a bag, all in one step, and then they can kind of carry that around and then dispose of it when they get back, to a trash can or whatever. So that's the next. That's going to be the difficult one to engineer. I've got some prototypes. But, and probably, I don't think it'll be the most sold. So I've kind of pushed it off to the end, but I want to have Good Wag cover all bases of pet waste. It's like this one problem that I want to take care of. As I mentioned, I was out spending half my Saturdays picking up after my dog. It's like, I kind of resented that I had to spend half my day off cleaning up after my dogs. I felt like, well, they should be cleaning up after me or something, but I just wanted to make this one area of dog ownership a little bit easier, so that, it just kind of free up your life and you wouldn't have to spend so much time. And I that's still what I want to do. I want Good Wag. I want to build the company so that it's the go-to company when your dog goes number 2. I don't want to get into pet treats or leashes or anything else, just dog poop.
Well, I have to be honest with you. As we set up this interview, I wasn't sure how our discussion would go, talking about dog poop for a while. But, it's a funny topic sometimes, but it's such an important topic for anybody who has a dog. It's something everybody needs. Exactly. And it's such a great product you've developed, and great business stories along the way that you find something that is in need for any dog owner out there, and then great idea, great product, better mousetrap, as you said, and then finding the right marketing approach that is really going to drive sales and help the business grow from there. Well, Sandy, is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would be helpful for our audience?
Well, I think that's kind of it. Sales have continued to grow. We're PooPail is still our best seller. We also offer smart poopy walking bags. And the thing that I didn't mention is the PooPail is designed to live outside. So will Poopy Scoopy, but the bags are biodegradable and compostable, because I don't want to have to preserve dog poop in plastic forever. I'm a scuba diver. I want to keep, the planet clean. And I've picked up way too many plastic bags while scuba diving.
And I want to tell our audience, please go visit goodwag.com, where you can learn more about Sandy's current product and coming products that are coming out soon as well. And did you know you can meet with a member of my team absolutely free for a 30-minute strategy consultation? We've launched and grown hundreds of products since 2007 and learned some of our strategies while growing OxyClean back in the Billy Mays days. We're here to help. So please go to harvestgrowth.com and set up a call if you'd like to discuss further.